Justin, the work this entire organization's done the last 5 weeks to get y'all back in this position, how important does it make all three of these ball games this weekend against Mizzou?
Yeah, really important actually. We're playing for something, and that's kind of the goal in mind. The past 5 weeks or a few weeks have been great, and we've shown our full potential, and I think it's going to carry over into this weekend and kind of give us that momentum to hopefully get the job done and head into Athens in a good spot.
What does it mean to you and I guess your fellow starting pitchers to see the pitching really take a step over the last couple of weeks as well?
Yeah, it's great. It's kind of been everybody, starting pitching aside, like even the bullpen guys, like they've dominated and done their job and kept us in the ball game, late in the game when, the starters do come out. So we kind of commend everybody for the work they've done.
What's it been like working with Jason Kelly this year?
Yeah, it's been great. Ever since I got here, I built a really good relationship with him super fast, and I felt super comfortable with him. And, he's worked with me on some pitch design stuff and, just ball security things and little things along the way that we work on each week and kind of touch on to kind of prepare myself for a start.
How do you feel like you're a different pitcher at this point in your career, and even this point in the season, for maybe the start of the season?
Yeah, I think the mental side's a real big part of it for me. Kind of struggled with that, last year and then my freshman year, obviously. And I think just having gone through the SEC or the gauntlet, 2 times now, and this being my 3rd time through it, I think I kind of have a better understanding of what needs to be done and kind of just the whole mental side of things, and that's kind of what's propelled me to kind of have the season I've had.
What clicked for you? Was there a drill or a conversation or something that clicked for you that made that mental side click?
I think it was just kind of letting the past go and kind of staying in the present moment. That's kind of what clicked for me, and kind of realizing that all I have is kind of right now, and that there's no need to get caught up in what went on, if a bad start last week or trying to focus on the start next week. It's just kind of what I have right now in the moment is kind of what clicked for me.
Does that come from a coach or sports psychologist? Did anybody help you with that?
It kind of came from Jace Hutchins, kind of one of our pitching guys, and he's been great. He shared a great quote with me. A few weeks ago, it was like, nothing changes on a start day. It's like the same thing. It just happens to be the day that people get to come watch you do it. I thought that was pretty unique.
How important is it to have that kind of mindset, especially throughout this season in particular, where there's been so many ups and downs?
Yeah, baseball is super hard. It's mentally and physically draining, and I'd say more mentally draining than physically. And I think if you can build that up in your mind, you're going to be an elite player for a long time.
With this being the final home weekend, is there any extra emotion, any extra thought given to this might be your last time on this mound in front of these fans with what might await you in July?
Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit, but I've kind of tried to put that in the back of my head and kind of hopes that this isn't the last time I might get to throw on this mound. But I'm not too worried about it. Just kind of worried about trying to put my team in a good spot to come out successful this weekend.
You talked about starting pitching. How good was it for you guys to see what Ryan was able to do last week, and especially get the result finally in SEC play?
Yeah, I was super happy for Ryan and seeing what he did on Friday night or on Saturday actually with a doubleheader against a really good LSU team, and that's what he's capable of, and that's who Ryan Prager is, and there's no doubt about it that he's going to continue to carry that momentum for the rest of the season.
I know the whole thing is a team effort, but is there some pride in the fact that when y'all have been at your best, a lot of times it's because the starting pitching has been at their best?
Yeah, I think starting pitching, sets the tone early, even for the offense, and if we can, starting with that first inning, throw up a zero and get our guys in the dugout as quick as possible and get them to the plate, I think that builds great momentum, and like I said, I think just starting pitching is everything, and it really creates momentum for ball games.
You got to learn anything about Missouri yet? What do you know about them?
Yeah, talked with JK and Jace a little bit. They're gonna bunt, they're gonna steal, a little bit of small ball, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, just they're a team that has not had a lot of success, but played a lot of close games.
Yeah.
Just how do you approach a club like that that's just scrapping and clawing just to get their first win in conference play at this point in the year?
Yeah, like you said, they're clawing. They want to win really bad, and it's the SEC. Anybody can beat anybody, and we got to treat it just like any other game and just kind of stick to our preparation and go about our business how we've had the past few weeks.
When you look back at your last 2 years, is the pitches that you feel comfortable with, is that the same now, or is there other things that have kind of risen up that as you've gone and developed are more of your lean on pitches?
Yeah, it's definitely changed from when I've got here, and I made some changes to breaking ball stuff kind of middle of last year leading into the postseason. That's kind of what I've stuck with right now, and just kind of fine-tuning that stuff, those 3 pitches, throughout the fall and leading into this spring. But, I came in here my freshman year with, fastball and like a curveball out there in high school that wasn't really good, and I really only had 2 pitches. And so now where I'm at this year, it's like I have, 3 pitches I can rely on, and I feel comfortable throwing them in the zone to kind of any batter. So.
When you think back about that guy who had 2 pitches, is it kind of amazing that you were able to achieve what you're able to achieve with that, knowing what you know about pitching now?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's cool to see how far I've come and how much I developed, and how much support you get from all the guys in this organization, from coaches to staff to analytics guys, especially for pitchers. They put in so much work to try and help us be our best every single day.
And I know Prager, I think on one of the things said, if I'm not mistaken, you've gone through the 3 pitching coaches since you've been here. What is that like, being able to have the experience of 3 guys back to back years?
Yeah, whenever I get asked this, I always tell guys, like, it's almost like a blessing. I mean, you get to learn 3 different perspectives from 3 different pitching coaches and kind of combine them into what you want and kind of make what you want out of it from all 3 different perspectives is kind of how I look at it.
Did you get to talk with Wiener, Yeski the last couple weekends at the ballpark?
No, I never got the opportunity to. Just kind of wasn't able to get the chance to.